Is it morning? Yes. Good morning. Hello. Apologies for the disorganization as usual. Hello. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna not take too long because I got lots to do today. But I thought that I wanted to talk. I just wanted to show this because it's really it's quite funny. I know if you've been following Twitter, you know roughly what I'm talking about. I'm starting to focus more on sort of the techniques and tactics used to spread confusion. Okay. And again, let's just preface this by saying everyone does it. So, for those that don't know, I got called a turf and went, why is that? And then obviously now I'm here 5 years, a few years later, trying to diagnose why this was going on. Because it was only until once you're on the wrong side of something, that's when you start to realize that maybe there's more to the story. And so what I've done is bring my years of experience in tech, advertising, user experience, and politics, political campaigning, and now psychology into, trying to educate. The problem with propaganda is that it's very hard to fight propaganda without counter propaganda. And I don't think that that's necessarily the solution. Traditionally, that's how it would be, which is that if you see something that is sort of blatant propaganda, like, for example, that Marx is authoritarian. Okay, that's something that Americans have been told forever. That's their propaganda. Okay, or that whatever fucking global power or company or this goes. This is basically from everyone from like your thirstiest bullshitter, affiliate marketer, MLM fucking dickhead learning NLP. Okay, right up to massive global corporations, right up to the stock market, right up to like good guys and bad guys, right? I've been talking a bit about a book called Nudge, about choice architecture, and there's a whole school of thought which is that you can do these things for good, for the right reasons. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about the GameStop stuff, only just in passing, but I think that what is a big part of the cure, okay, is, I know it sounds fucking, sunshine and rainbows and fucking that, but it's good old education and good old critical thinking, which is that once you see, I'm going to start showcasing the playbook, okay, over and over and over again, and start to focus on the techniques. This is weird that I ended up wanting to be in media. Like, the reason why I do what I do is because of my media studies teacher in high school. And it's just funny that after all these years, I just ended up fucking teaching media studies. But the right kind. Not the compromised fucking identity media studies bullshit that, we've been subjected to in America. But actual critical reading of all media, okay? And that means a healthy distrust for everything, okay? And I don't mean cynicism and I don't mean nihilism. There's a balance, okay? Because I actually come from this not from a nihilistic viewpoint, but from an idealistic one, which is that I believe that I naively believe that this is reversible, which is when people become aware of being fucked with, okay? And of these techniques. Like, I remember when I was first in business and some fuck, like, I've already, I'm pretty good with my bullshit meter anyway. I'm just, as you get older, you're less nice about it. You just tell people to fuck off, right? That's I used to tolerate it better, okay? And I can tell when people are trying to fuck with me, okay? Because, that instinct inside of me where I have to deny, again, we'll talk about this, I have to deny my eyes and ears with someone trying to tell me something and leaving out information in order to get me to do what they want. That's manipulation. That's manipulative, okay? And if people see the people who think that they can create behavior change for good, okay, there's a whole bunch of evil shit that's been done in the name of good, okay? If anything, I would prefer the evil to be more honest about the fact that it's evil rather than it hiding behind good. Because the answer to this stuff, as we've seen through the Democratic campaign and all these guys legitimately, and America, and, you know, the political interests that use this same fucking psychology, which is that we are doing it for the right reasons, but those other guys are doing it and they're evil. But we need to do this. This is the MO of the US military, which is counter-propaganda measures. But they also do it in fucking Venezuela to destabilize governments. So it's everything from your grifty fucking NLP neighbor who's trying to get you to come to their fucking business opportunity, right up to YouTubers, okay, who use the same techniques, who certain other political movements, which Charlie the Unicorn fucking mimics better than anything in the world. It's funny, okay? One of the first viral videos on YouTube served as a warning about viral videos on YouTube. Like, we're living in a simulation! We have to be! Fate loves irony, right? Charlie the Unicorn warned us. So, it's pretty funny. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start calling out these fucking techniques, okay, which they use in business and politics and like fucking violent relationships, fucking friendships, and you'll start to understand that. And my big picture view of this is that these dark manipulative techniques are unethical, okay? This is why I fucking got out of marketing, because I started to see marketing become dark pattern dominated, dark psychology dominated, and like absolutely we have to just, if my dying breath, I will work towards making this hijacking of fucking lizard brains. If you get caught using fucking dark patterns, okay, which can be defined through research and through psychological research. I'm going to make it my mission to to create an organization or something where we conduct research on specific things and set standards around tech. And if you get caught using them, much like the ACCC and insider trading, you know, all those things, they have laws. Apparently this is illegal because everyone benefits from it. The government does, fucking everyone. But we need to put some standards in place, because it's out of line. It's just ridiculous. It's now just gotten to a point where you can't do anything about it without making it illegal. Okay. And I don't necessarily think that it's a good idea, but we need to just crack down, which is that if your app, okay, I'll be lobbying, if I can get support and rally support for this thing, this is where I'm going. Okay, and you dumb fuck Americans can call it authoritarian all you fucking want. It's not. Okay, it's not. This is why government exists, which is that because capitalists cannot be trusted to do the right thing, because they use all of this shit, and this is why this is the role of government in any reasonable society, which is that dark patterns and dark psychology and dark design and manipulation, okay, and nudging and all of those things, you need to be fucking held to a standard like every other industry. Every other industry. Psychologists have to, doctors have to, even fucking stockbrokers have to. Okay. Well, technically, yes. But anyway, let's move on. I'm just saying that there has to be some professional standards in tech around with design. I've been pushing for this for a decade, and I had fucking the back teeth with people rationalizing the use of this fucking shit. Okay? Saw this happening. I know that it's happening. I know what you're doing. And those who are fucking fighting against it benefit from it. Okay? We need regulation. We need laws to make dark patterns. Like, you just won't get your app on the App Store if you use certain things. Okay? Yes, Apple make less money. Yes, Facebook's whole fucking business model is based on dark patterns. Yes, LinkedIn, his whole fucking platform is built on dark patterns. Yes, the whole fucking digital marketing landscape is built on dark patterns. I understand that everyone yes, the globalists and political people and fucking Nazis and fucking, Big Tran and fucking Big Pharma and all these people, they have zero interest in talking about this issue, but I'm happy to fucking, do you know what? This is less of a bullshit fucking blue sky dream, okay, than believing in anything that resembles democracy or a free market, okay? We don't have them while these patterns exist, okay? And so I'm just going to start educating people on them so that you guys actually fucking start to see when you're being manipulated, because you're all buying Doge and being dumb fucks. I'm not saying don't buy Doge. Doge is cool. You're going to probably make money, but you need to have some critical thinking. Same thing with SafeMoon. Things don't just pop up overnight without someone paying for it. Okay? I've built built digital strategies for 25 years. I know how much it costs to do that. I also know how many people it takes. I also know how many fucking troll farms and bot armies and like armies and fucking bullshit that you need to pay, how many journalists you need to get sponsored to write about your product to get it to fucking launch. It's not organic. Okay? There is nothing spontaneous about these things anymore. Maybe if it was 2004. Okay? Maybe. But in 2021, it's not organic. Okay? It can't be. So fucking stop it. They're being dumb. I'm not shitting on Doge. I like Doge. If anything, Doge sits as an example of a fucking thing that's been ruined by these cunts. Okay? That's my point. So anyway, this is why Charlie the Unicorn was fucking prophetic. I'm going to show you the techniques. Okay? I'm going to go back to I'm going to keep revisiting that big gentleman's guide to fucking psyops document that, was on that blog, because it's actually a really nice thing to just work through bit by bit. But you're just going to start to understand the bigger picture. You just stop arguing with crazy fucking people on Twitter. If they're not a bot, they're a fucking shill and they're paid. If they're getting you to ignore your senses, then they're fucking either really dumb, therefore have no credibility, or they're paid and have no credibility. Okay? And you can pay off fucking journals and journalists and all that shit. If they're getting you to unless you, again, I know people who've been fucking sectioned, so again, that's the exception. But I'm saying, unless you have been diagnosed as a delusional fucking schizophrenic, you can pretty much trust your senses more than you can trust the internet. Okay? Or media, or power. Okay? This is a fucking foundation of critical media, critical thinking and media literacy, okay? This is why critical theory is a fucking psyops weapon. Because it asks you to deny. It's basically just fucking psyops. That's gone over fucking 100 years. It's a playbook that repeats and replicates and gets and adapts and gets smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter, right to the point where you can take over a sleeper fucking coin, pay off the devs, pay off fucking a few influencers, okay? Then manufacture some weird fucking tribal bullshit, okay, to throw the hardcore hardcore Doge community. Like, throw them off the scent, okay, which is then to create this new fucking stupid thing, call it SafeMoon, and then have the same influencers fucking suddenly nudge you over there, split the community in half, and then fucking sell them that scam, leaving the fucking hardcore Doge people going, what the fuck has happened? I've been compromised and imploded. What the actual fuck has just happened? Meanwhile, the whole thing goes high up in value and doubles. Then there's a fucking programmed automated dump going on in the last 24 hours. Are you fucking yeah, okay. One thing's a coincidence, okay? Then you have a bunch of, okay, look, I'm not saying anything. As I've said before, I don't make claims. Because that's how you get sued. And the difference between a conspiracy theorist and an expert talking about fuckery, that's obvious fuckery, okay? right? The difference between me and someone like, say, Snowden or Assange is that I'm not sharing anything that isn't available or known. Okay? This is, again, to quote notorious alt-right person Douglas Murray, what we knew was true up until yesterday. Okay, that's all I'm going on, which is that, and also that the playbook that we know exists and plays out over and over and over and over and over again. What I know from everything I know from marketing, which is that data-driven marketing learns and gets better and A/B tests and nudges people in certain directions, and then you can't think that the bad guys might not see a fucking opportunity. Jesus fucking Christ. If you don't see that, I can't help you. I'm going to try. Because the problem is that I feel that there's people who are critical, okay, like myself, who are smart, who can see it, but people continually fall for cults, continually fall for MLM, they continually fall for scams, okay, continually have arguments with bots about dumb shit, okay. I continually fall for it. That's what I've learned about this DOGE. And it's like, I thought people were more fucking immune than they are. I mean, Americans are dumb anyway, but I'm saying this is a very powerful, very refined, extremely savvy model. Okay, the model's gotten smarter. And again, when I say the model, I'm saying it could just largely be AI going fucking nuts. Okay, so what we're seeing is AI going fucking haywire and a bunch of marketers with no fucking idea just taking the AI's fucking word for it. Okay, again, I don't make claims. I'm just saying what I have to anchor things. The difference between, say, a QAnon nutter and someone like me is that I'm just anchoring it and refining it and assessing it through evidence and what's true and what has been true up until this fucking one fucking playbook. This one ideology just suddenly started making us question everything that we think is true. Fuck off. It's obvious what you're doing, America. It's obvious. Okay? DOGE and SafeMoon are the fucking wokes and IDWs and fucking those people. It's the same fucking thing. You're just splitting the fucking thing. It's Coke versus Sprite, but it's the same fucking company. Some people like cola. Some people like lemonade. Let's target them both. But no one's asking the question about how much fucking water they use. Okay? And what happens in the third world. And what they pay their employees. It's like, okay, let's get them to just fucking addicted to this sugar shit. So that, it's Coke versus Sprite and they think that they've got choice, but they don't. The choice architecture that I've been talking about. It's like, fucking hell. Okay, Charlie the Unicorn. So, we've come full circle. Basically, I think we're done. I think the experiment's concluded because Charlie warned us at the beginning. I know it wasn't the beginning of the internet, I'm saying. It's one of the first early viral fucking videos. Okay. And a lot of those early viral things are actually quite hypnotic. And it's very interesting because I think people really did just study the psychology of these things and refine them and get them, if you understand how memetics works, okay, which memetics comes from linguistics, which is that people, and this is what George Orwell talked about in Animal Farm. It's one of our big gaps, okay, and we use it a lot in politics, which is slogans, okay, especially catchy slogans, right? All of these mantras, okay, it comes from advertising. It works. It's because it works. And that's why, NLP people in business, these are amateur fucking these are basically dark psychology people who learn how to do fucking hypnosis in sales, okay? Neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, so what they'll do is they'll manipulate you. So what they'll, things like touching you and repetition and not saying what they want to say, but sort of, hacking that subconscious. That comes from neuro-linguistic programming and also dark psychology, based in psychology. Okay. Again, it's all, if you understand, and this is why marketers are fucking only taught marketing and it's been funneled into business. Okay, rather than in psychology or politics. And this is why, just because I came from politics into marketing and into tech, okay, into UX and all that stuff, and now into psychology, I go, oh, okay, I can see how they kept that siloed and why. Because they didn't want you to see that, everything persuasion is basically the fucking Ash conformity experiment. Over and over again, replicated. Over and over and over again. Obedience, obedience, authority. Okay? It's like, again, it's just, it's interesting. These things are, again, and let's have a charitable view of power, okay? Aside from the sort of 0.1%, the 1% of psychopaths that exist in the world, most people are not psychopaths, okay? But AI acts largely like a psychopath, and it keeps learning, okay? So that's machine learning, again. So this is, again, there's no conspiracy theory here. It's just eyes and ears and logic and fucking everything we know to be true up until the AI bots started telling us to not pay attention to what we think is true or question reality, like our eyes and ears. Okay, and that's the big ask. The big ask is to detach us from our own senses. Okay, that's the big lie, which is that we can't trust our own senses and that authority knows best for us. I don't think that that's the case. I think that we, for the last 15 years in business, but 25 years on the internet, and I've had to learn how to trust the butterflies here, the gut. Trust your gut. You can trust your gut. Gaslighting asks you, anyone who's trying to gaslight you tells you to not trust your gut, unless they're a trained psychologist. And even then, if they're bought by Big Tran or Big fucking Pharma, they don't trust them either. Always question what people want from you. Always question what people want from you. And it doesn't matter. And I actually was talking about this on Twitter, which was that I did a thread about, how to spot when someone's asking something of you, okay? And trying to, the blind spot for us is not when people disagree with us. It's when people are fucking agreeing with us, okay? And I'll just use the example. So anyway, let's go with Charlie. And Charlie the unicorn is really fascinating because what it is, who doesn't fucking know about Charlie the unicorn? If you don't, you're in for a treat because it's fucking funny. I have put captions on, okay, for people who, most people don't watch my shit with captions because I go all over the place and it's hard to follow me anyway. But, feel free to, if you, see, the problem is I also know how hard it is to get people to do stuff for you. I know how long editing takes. I know how long scripting a video takes. Okay, don't trust anyone who's just uploading content that's edited, even if it looks amateur. Okay, just look at the actual, again, just fucking question things. Jesus fucking Christ. Why do I have to be the world's mum? Fuck. How did I end up a media studies teacher? I'm fucking 60 grand down. I could have just gotten a grad dip when I was 23 and fucking taught media studies. It's the man. I only want women to be teachers, isn't it? Fucking hell, how did that happen? How did I end up down 60 grand to become a media studies teacher? Nothing wrong with teaching. I'm just saying. It's not something I'm built for. But someone's got to do it. Someone's got to fucking do some shit. So I'm just going to do it. Okay. So Clueless Dog Rat said, I'm digging all of this. Keep going. Thank you. Are you digging it because you're a dog rat? Are you the rat from my mandarin tree who keeps fucking with my husband? Because he'll go out the front and see an empty mandarin on the front. And it's like, I think he, my husband is 43 years old. You shouldn't fuck with men in their 40s like that because there's a turning point. If you're a rat or other animal form, it's not fair to do that to a middle-aged man because they're at the crossroads where they become an old man that's obsessed with the rat and the rat. And that's happening. I can see it. He's fixated on that rat. That rat fucks him. And I don't want to kill the rat. And I'm upset because I don't want to kill it. I don't want to kill a thing. If anyone has any tips on how to get rid of rats, we've always just had a dog, so the dog would just get rid of the rat for us. But I don't want to be part of rat murder. Anyway, Charlie the Unicorn.
Hey, Charlie! Hey, Charlie, wake up! Yeah, Charlie, you silly sleepyhead, wake up!
Oh God, you guys. This had better be pretty freaking important. Is the meadow on fire?
No, Charlie, we found a map to Candy Mountain. Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie, we're going to...
So, slightly different coloured unicorns. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a media studies class here. Okay, can't believe I'm doing first year media studies. Okay, I did this, so maybe I did actually do this course in my undergrad, so I am qualified to teach you. But it's just funny that it's come full circle. But we're using the internet now rather than news and media, and I suppose the internet is media. But so yes, unicorns that look very similar to you sort of interrupt you while you're doing, they sort of show up out of the blue. Now, we're assuming that these guys know each other, but maybe they're just acquaintances, okay? And these guys do the big ask, okay? Right? So Clueless Dog Rat said, I'm clueless and want to learn more about dark. I assume you mean patterns, not patents. Where do I learn more? Well, if you stick with me, you'll learn more. Okay, because I'm hoping to talk about this more and break it down for people. There's a body of content on my YouTube channel, which I link to, but you can just stick around. But there's lots of places. If you go on, I know Periscope's not the place for links and stuff, but follow me on Twitter and you'll see. Okay, you can find me. Now, so Charlie's going about his business. Charlie is going, okay, what do these dickheads want? You can tell that he already thinks that they're dickheads. And let's just use these guys, okay, as, your fucking idiot cousin who's always been a bit of a fuckwit and always is on to the latest, they're gullible. They're the people that fall for everything, okay? Now there's a truck. So, I don't know. Okay, so we're going to Candy Mountain. Okay, well, that's weird. What's Candy Mountain? That's my cousin talking shit again. He's obviously having some sort of delusional fucking episode. Okay, well, I'd better see. All right, whatever. I'm going to be nice because this is my fucking retard cousin. All right.
Candy Mountain, come with us, Charlie. Yeah,
come with us, Charlie.
It'll be an adventure.
That's the nudge. See, the nudge is we're going to Candy Mountain. Come with us. And he's like, what? We're going on an adventure, Charlie.
Going on an adventure, Charlie.
Yeah, Candy Mountain, right. I'm just gonna, go back to sleep now.
No, Charlie.
Then Charlie says, nah, thanks, but no thanks. Okay. And then they start, sort of escalating that. So they're like escalating that ask. So they kind of go, so at this point it would be for a dark pattern in design, or let's say you're on a website. It would be, okay, well, you haven't immediately bought from us. You haven't immediately clicked through. And you're about to hit the close button. So what we'll do is we'll put a pop-up on your website and we'll nudge you just that little bit more, just to we're going to Candy Mountain, Charlie. 25% off. Okay. Now,
with us to Candy Mountain. Yeah, Charlie, Candy Mountain. It's a land of sweets and joy. Enjoying us.
Please stop bouncing on me.
Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, Candy Mountain.
Oh, fine. I'll go with you to Candy Mountain.
Now, that could be applied to something like remarketing. So what remarketing is when you get ads when you visited a website, let's say, this is one of my fucking pet hates, is when it's bad remarketing. So you go to Rebel Sport and buy the shoes, and then you start getting ads for the shoes you bought. Well, that was a fucking lost opportunity. And then I click on the ad because it costs them money to me to click, because remarketing ads cost more than normal ads because they're more targeted. But anyway, so that's like if it starts following you around. All right, it's just an example. Okay, it could also apply to social media, which is that eventually they nag you. If you don't say yes immediately, they nag you until you sort of give in. Okay.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Enough with the singing already.
Our first stop is over there, Charlie.
Oh God, what is that?
It's a Leopleurodon, Charlie.
Oh, what is that? It's a Leopleurodon, Charlie.
It's gonna guide our way to Candy Mountain.
All right, guys, you do know
So
that there's
then
no actual
Charlie
candy
starts to question. He's like, well, that doesn't exist. That's not real. Don't you see it? And then this is the Ash experiment stuff, right? Which is like, don't you see this? We do. My retarded cousin is either having a delusion or I'm crazy. But because he is, again, I know this is actually just a bit of fun. It's just funny how, once you start to dissect these things, you see that they're flanking him. So he's actually, both of them at either side, much like the cops would do if you're under arrest. So they surround him and say, don't you see this? It's this, what is it? I can never say it. The Megapleurodon or whatever the fuck. Okay, so.
Right?
Shun the non-believer.
Yeah, non-believer.
Shun.
Yeah.
Shun the non-believer. So there's a shaming component to it. Okay. Now, if you can't see parallels between that and what's going on with this woke sort of, chanting of fuck it, whatever the fuck. Okay. Let's say let's use trans women and women. Okay. As a slogan. I'm saying, let's just use it. Put it through this filter. Okay. Your critical thinking filter, which is that you did not know that people thought that trans women were literally women. Okay. And you were like, well, I don't think that's true. Shun the non-believer, right? Shaming. And then, so look what happens here. And they see it, and there's the social proof. So then he's told, and he kind of goes,
It didn't say anything.
It's just over this bridge, Charlie. This magical bridge of hope
it's
and
over
wonder.
here, nudging. See, nudging
Is
over
anyone
the
else
bridge.
getting, covered in
the
splinters?
thing that's important here, okay, and there's something we can learn, which is that what was Charlie's mistake? Charlie's mistake was going, okay, what is this? His curiosity and his open-mindedness and his willingness and his being polite, okay, and all of that sort of stuff, okay, and also the obvious pre-existing relationship with these colourful dickheads that he knows, okay. Charlie went along with it and didn't, but basically you may notice that Charlie's still following them. Because he doesn't fucking understand what's going on and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Fuck, okay, I'm going to be polite. But through the way, they're nudging. Okay.
Hey guys, we shouldn't be on this thing.
Charlie.
So we shouldn't be on this.
Charlie.
I'm right here. What do you want?
We're on a bridge, Charlie.
See that whole bait and switch. So they go, we're on a bridge, Charlie. Anchoring back to reality and going, misdirection. Okay. Charlie verbalizes some very, material concerns and they just go, we're on a bridge, Charlie, and moves on. So it's actually quite an interesting lesson in psyops and how nudging works.
We're here.
Well, what do you know? There actually is a Candy Mountain.
Candy Mountain. Candy
Mountain. Candy Mountain. Obvious paper mache, but he's been primed and nudged in this direction, and there's this big paper mache Candy Mountain. Okay, and so he's going, all right, well, okay, so this, all right, so the what? Okay, he's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, well, you guys obviously know what you're talking about.
You fill me with sweet, sugary goodness. Go inside the Candy Mountain cave, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie, go inside the cave. Magical wonders are to behold.
See
when
the
you
nudging?
enter.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm gonna stay out here.
But you have to enter the Candy Mountain Candy Cave, Charlie.
Oh, when you're down and looking for some cheering up, then just head right on up to the Candy Mountain Cave. When you get inside, you'll find yourself a cheery land, such a happy and joy-filled and perky merry land. They've got lollipops and gummy drops and candy things, oh, so many things that will brighten up your day. It's impossible to wear a frown in Candy Town. It's the mecca of love, the Candy Cave. They've got jelly beans and coconuts with little hats, candy rats, chocolate bats. It's a wonderland of...
So I'm just going to quickly interrupt this. Now, I can't hear the audio because my monitor wasn't working, but basically, that way that you see how Charlie has been sort of gaslit and nudged right up to this point. And then there's the big lie, the big promise of Candy Mountain with all of these big promises and still not clear. The only real ask is a small ask, okay, which is that Charlie just continue on and keep listening, okay, and keep paying attention to what they're saying, because it's a low stakes ask in the beginning. But then, okay, eventually it becomes a slightly bigger ask. Okay, so he's like nudged and then persuaded, and they've made lots of promises with Candyman chocolate bats and sweets and unicorns and fucking all this shit. Okay. Now, then there's the ask. Go into the cave, Charlie. And he hesitates. And then there's a song. You see what I'm saying? It's like, this is a really fascinating... like I said, the internet, I think we finished the internet experiment because it's actually just come full circle. Because one of the very first viral internet videos actually was a prophecy, and it gave us the truth, okay? So...
Ride the candy train to town and hear the candy band. Candy bells, it's a treat as they march across the land. Cherry ribbons stream across the sky into the ground. Turn around, it astounds, it's a dancing candy tree. In the candy cave, imagination runs so free. So now, Charlie, please will you go into the cave?
All right, fine. I'll go into the freaking candy
And then
cave.
he gives in.
This better be good.
Yeah. Goodbye, Charlie. Yeah, goodbye, Charlie.
Goodbye? What? Hey, what's going on here? Hello? Who is that? Oh, what happened? Oh, they took my freaking kidney.
Now, remember how that was just a funny video? Like, and I just went, fuck me. I watched, because I actually was like joking about some stuff. Like, I like baiting woke people with, like, you know, shun the non-believer, shun. Because I was making fun of DOGE as well. Because I saw DOGE, like the DOGE army doing this. And this was the thing, is like that love bomb and the big promises of like DOGE to the moon. And it's like, it just made me think of Charlie the Unicorn. Like the meme coin. It's like, yes, it is perfect. Because it uses all of the meme psychology to get you to spend your fucking hard-earned money on a fucking... Okay, let me turn the lights down a bit. It lets you turn like your hard-earned money over to fucking people that you don't know based on memes, okay? And it's just really funny. Again, I'm not dissing Doge. That's the thing. I'm not actually... I like Doge. I think it's funny. But don't trust it. That's the thing. It's like... And like today I was talking about, you know, how you don't trust... especially don't trust the people that are trying to get something from you. Charlie's instincts at the beginning were correct. He should have trusted that and gone, that's my dickhead cousin. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Fuck off. That's the answer, okay? And that's the problem, is that this has happened at scale. This is happening every single day. Like with websites or social media, your friends trying to sell you MLM, the government trying to nudge you into like votes, you know, or behaviors, like that whole thing about choice architecture. That's very much endorsed and rubber stamped by governments as the right thing to do, which is, you know, nudging people in the direction that you want. And again, I'm not saying there's not benefits to it, because as we've learned recently, there's a lot of dumb fucking people out there who need nudging. Okay, but we need to see when we're being nudged in the right direction and consent to it. Such as, like, if you go to a psychologist, for example, there's an understanding that that's a transaction that occurs. That you're going to, like, you know, pay this person or see this person if you've got, you know, if you've got healthcare. But, you know, you pay these people, and you know there's a contract and an understanding and consent that they're going to dig into your brain and help you to, you know, change your behavior in a way that you don't like. That's consensual, okay? This is non-consensual. With the things like, you know, this positive behavior change. If you download an app, I want to use Noom as an example, because they do a heavy marketing campaign and use a lot of dark patterns. Okay, they use a lot of dark patterns, which is that they bombard your social media with quit diets, but then they put you on a diet. But they also charge a fortune, but they bury the price. Okay, but again, it's wrapped in the idea that they're doing good by making people eat less and exercise, but they're still doing it They're doing dark patterns and they're manipulating you, and you're not consenting at every stage of the process. It works very much like a relationship. You have healthy relationships and you have unhealthy relationships. And in a healthy relationship, there's a voluntary exchange. There is consent. There is no one fucking with your head. They are being genuine and vulnerable and transparent. Okay. In an unhealthy relationship, that person is manipulating you. They are lying to you. They are pretending that they are something that they're not. They are, there's that whole, and there's always that constant sort of nudging. I have been in both relationships and I know the difference. Okay. And a lot of these sort of design patterns and nudging and like social media influencers in particular, don't trust people like Jamila Jamil. Or even fucking, honestly, even Graham. Like, don't trust anyone who ends up being the fall guy either. Okay? I'm not saying, just be careful whose tribe you join, because it's just we're being nudged in various directions. Okay? You can't tell me that people aren't paying attention to who follows who and using it to, nudge us in certain directions. Like, I'm seeing that there is very much a pathway to the alt-right. There's a pathway there. You just got to watch fucking, I'm not saying, again, I'm not doing woke logic saying that that person is this, therefore they're alt-right. I'm saying there's a lot of people pretending to be civil who are nudging you into a fucking political thing that is opposite to your values. Like the walk away movement. I don't know any real lefty who will walk away from the left. I'm just saying. Okay, I don't know anybody, because politics, if with your politics, don't fucking, just calm the fuck down, all of you. I did say that left and right are ultimately meaningless anyway. I'm saying I don't believe in the tribes anyway, but I'm saying if you leave the left, okay, while there is the option of going progressive, like Greens, or they've been compromised, but actually going further left rather than going further right, because in America it's centre right and right. And if you're not looking and going, I'm going to be honest. If you don't know why you're on the left, get out of politics. If you just shut the fuck up, okay? I'm going to go back. I want to go back to the time when people just didn't engage in politics and they weren't in a tribe and they didn't fucking know. They showed up to vote based on who was most persuasive at the time, okay? And people ran clean campaigns and didn't go negative and didn't do fuckery, okay? And yes, both sides do fuckery, but again, like that's the persuasion. It's about the honest transaction and persuasion. You're being fucked with during an election campaign, okay? You don't know you're being fucked with when you're talking about this other issue over here and then pipelined into a fucking mailing list to get, based on behavioural data that nudges you to give fucking money you don't have to the 1%. So they can get more ads, fucking, that's what BLM is, a fucking funnel. As are the Proud Boys and all those other things. They're all just funnels to the one to redistribute wealth upwards, okay, and to sham you out of your own money. If you don't see it that way, then. But I'm saying, okay, I was talking about being left versus right. If you are able to walk away from the left and not go further left, okay, to the right, then first of all, you're not on the left, and you don't know what it means. Second of all, you don't, politics is based on values and views of the world and views of people. And, I've always just worked across the aisle because I know what my fucking politics are. I also don't want to work with people who are anti-abortion on an issue. Sorry. No. Okay. There's you're my ally for now, but no. Okay. There's no allies, only interests. And I don't want anyone, we're not allies and we're not interests. We don't have shared interests either, which is that the interests of a conservative man are to have me back in the kitchen. I don't want anything to do with that shit, okay? No. And get me to find Jesus with their Jesus bot, because somehow I've been programmed to someone who's capable of having a religious experience, like most of the people who started with walk away. Just watch the people who suddenly now are all on fucking Jesus, like Jesus again. But they were the same people who fell for the fucking social justice shit. And then because they're just always seeking religion rather than actually going, no, I'm being fucked with and nudged in certain directions all of the time. I'm malleable as a person. Okay? It's fucking, just don't be malleable. But I'm just saying that, like, again, I'm not saying this, I'm not positioning myself above anybody politically or anything morally. I'm saying my values do not compute or correlate in any way, shape or form with leaving the left, because these guys aren't the left. I'm still here, as are a bunch of other people who trust their fucking eyes and ears and understand what Marx actually was. Okay, we've just been banned. So, put in jail. Okay, I'm just saying. So, so I'm just saying. So that's how this nudging works, which is to reframe your politics so that you don't understand that there's an option further to the left as well. Okay, but everyone's, again, these studies are partially true, which is that there is a legitimate push and nudge in one direction or another. That doesn't mean that you're a centrist. That's a retarded term. You believe in horseshoe theory, you're an idiot. That means you've fallen for American propaganda, because horseshoe theory works to narrow the field, okay, of options and create a false equivalency between, communism and like what happened in Nazi Germany, okay? That's bullshit, okay? The USSR, we all know that the USSR, despite everything, collapsed because of US fuckery as well. Venezuela collapsed because of US fuckery, okay? It's their MO. You're doing it. Oh, but Russian bots. It was Russia. That's been debunked, okay? And this is why we need to focus on the actual dark patterns, because what you'll find is that everyone does it. Not just the people that are accusing everyone else of misinformation. The people that are accusing everyone else of being bots and running troll campaigns and, all of that stuff, okay? The ones that are accusing everyone else of doing it are the biggest fucking culprits. Now, we're talking about abusive relationships. In an abusive relationship, that's called DAVO, okay? Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Okay, that's a narcissist move. That's what the United States do. And that is what PSYOPs does. Now, that's why I want you to focus on the techniques. Because otherwise, if you just think that the other guy is doing it, then you're falling for bullshit. Okay, the thing is, everyone is. If there's a buck to be made or power to be had, everyone's going to be using these techniques in some way, shape or form. And so the answer to this is, this is why I don't keep a large group of friends. Because I have friends that just are manipulative and controlling, or sort of go, well, if you don't agree with everything that I say and see things my way, then we're not friends. And I go, well, sorry, okay, cool. You're an idiot. You're trying to manipulate me. Okay, I don't fall for that stuff. And that's probably part of the standoff with, as a parent, it probably makes me unpopular, but I won't tolerate like emotional bullshit from my kids. They can't do it. And I won't tolerate it. And I don't think that if your ideas are good, and if your thinking is good, you don't need to use these patterns. If your product is good, you don't need to use these marketing strategies. If people actually like what you've got to sell, they will buy it in a free market. Okay, so dark patterns are very much linked to failure. Fact that they're just not. If you can't win in a fair fight, then you shouldn't be winning it. You shouldn't be in the fight, and you shouldn't be winning it. You shouldn't be in business. You shouldn't be in politics. If you can't, and that's my view, and that's why I want to start up this thing. Okay, this foundation. Whatever, because I think it's just an industry veteran with needs to fucking just stand up to this stuff and say enough. I know what you're doing. You're fucking with people. If you can't win this cleanly, then you should be fucking you should be like, what's the word? Forfeit. You forfeit the right to compete. If you can't win fairly within the rules, then you forfeit. And that's my view. And I think that I would like to put that to whoever the fuck will listen. Maybe if I'm lucky, the ACCC might read a white paper. I doubt it because everyone benefits from it. But it's the elephant in the room that no one's talking about, which is fuckery. All right. Now I'm going to share my screen. We'll go to the Gentle Person's Guide to Forum Spies. I figured out how to make the old text responsive, which is because this is where I go, 25 years in tech, ha ha, dickhead, people are stupid, ha 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 ha. And then I was like, yeah, let's put it in read mode in Safari. That makes the text responsive. I'm awesome. It's because I overthink everything. I stumble on the basics because I assume that it's more complicated than it is. So the 25 rules of disinformation is what I'm going to talk about today quickly. So note, now again, one of the 25 rules of disinformation, okay, golden rule of disinformation is not to trust anyone who accuses someone else of disinformation. Okay? Right now in 2021, okay, the intelligence community, marketers understand that using the word disinformation or misinformation, okay, so misinformation is different to disinformation. Disinformation is a way to is outright false, so sharing an outright lie. Misinformation is something that that is sort of close to the truth, but it's another ad hominem attack of the information, which is basically it means that the person who is sharing it is cherry picking or crazy, or it's like that misinformation is the first step, that first nudge. Okay, with Charlie, when it's like, we're on a bridge, Charlie. Okay, when he was on the bridge and he pointed out that they were standing on the bridge, and they went, "We're on a bridge, Charlie," and they repeated back the truth, but back to him, but wasn't really addressing what his criticism was. You see what I'm saying? So misinformation has truth in it. Okay, so now if we talk about QAnon, right, and how QAnon has been sort of securitized or demonized using that sort of propaganda model, this is just manufacturing consent. This is Chomsky, written in the 80s. Again, it's not the best misinformation is where the best lies have truth in them, but you can hide the lie within the truth, right? So, like the way that they sort of like bundled up COVID, 5G, Bill Gates, and vaccinations and COVID denial and mask denial and those things into one big, massive pedophile crazy cult, right? Meant that you couldn't actually turn around and go, hey, why is Bill Gates buying up farmland? Why is he buying up all the seeds and patents for fucking seeds? QAnon. Okay. So I have some concerns about like 5G and its safety. QAnon. So hang on. What you're saying doesn't really pass my senses and sniff test, which is that this is a prolonged lockdown. You said it would be 2 weeks, and we don't the science is like what QAnon. Okay. You know what? I have some real concerns about like the way that investment and big hedge funds flow money through a number of different small corporations in the Cayman Islands. And you know how that Panama Papers thing happened and everyone was hiding money and not paying tax? Are you going to do something about that? Like, that seems a bit sus. QAnon! See how it's like an interruption. We're on a bridge, Charlie. See what I'm saying? Like, they just like repeat. Yeah. So I know I sidestep, but I'm just saying don't trust anyone who's accusing you of disinformation and misinformation. If they can address your actual argument, okay. At this point, I'd assume that disinformation and misinformation coming from any kind of source, like mainstream source that has any power, where there's a power dynamic, okay, between the two of you, and they're saying that without backing it up, they're probably gaslighting you or getting you to if they're not actually rebutting your stuff and just saying, oh, that's disinformation and misinformation, or a conspiracy theory, then they have an interest in you stopping thinking. And anyone who asks you to stop being curious doesn't have your best interest or happiness at heart. Because there's a whole bunch of people that are just curious like me and go, oh, well, that's interesting, who aren't a threat. Okay? They're just trying to figure stuff out for themselves. Right? Well, I am a threat because I care about things. But anyway, so the first rule and last 5 rules are generally not directly within the ability of traditional disinfo artists. So this is what you need to remember, that a lot of these things are very expensive. Okay, time consuming, need resources. That's what I was saying before. If you have a YouTube channel that just suddenly goes from 0 to 20K subscribers and like super chats are landing on them and they're being love bombed and there's all this stuff and there's hype and memes and comments, it takes fucking 5 years for an ordinary person to build a YouTube channel, even if they've gone viral. Then you've got a problem with retention. Getting people to drop fucking money on it. I know this. I've been YouTubing for 2 years. I made $70 in revenue and spent $20,000 of my time and fucking money on gear and stuff. If not, I'm saying, okay, I made a bit more on Patreon. I'm just saying, like, from YouTube ads. The numbers don't add up, okay? If it just goes from 0 to 20K and suddenly super chats within like months, that's a scam. It's physics, okay? Even if you go viral, which I have done. Remember, I've gone viral. I have a 25-year brand, and it is still a fucking slog to get anyone to pay attention to my videos. Okay? That's the thing. It is a slog. And it is hard to get seen. And even with clickbait content, even with the fucking whatever, it's really hard unless you are pouring a fuck ton of money on ads or buying influencers or just happen to, have the mainstream media on your side at the right time. And even then, you're going to have to do more than that and retain them for more than 24 hours. I was viral for a week, okay? Worldwide, okay? And you still got to retain. You still got to have something else, okay? I know this to be true, so don't trust these things. So remember, it's very important that these things are not directly within the ability of the traditional artist to apply. These rules are generally used more directly by those at the leadership, key players, or planning level of the criminal conspiracy or conspiracy to cover up. Okay? 1, hear no evil, speak no evil. Regardless of what you know, don't discuss it. We're seeing that, right? We know what that is. GameStop. If you just got to Google, like, look at anything around GameStop, and it's like, this is at least at minimum, even if it's all bullshit, even if everything is bullshit, okay, it's still worth reporting about because it's fucking interesting. To anyone in tech, the GameStop communities that's why I'm there, because I'm going to write a book about the fucking thing. Why is no one talking about it? Why is Jim Cramer fucking saying these guys are idiots? Okay? Again. So, but most people just don't say anything. But I also happen to know that there's eyes on it. Because I have fucking networks. Again, people don't realize that I fucking... those people that are just used to sharing everything that happens in their life with everyone all the time online? Don't do that. Don't think that everything that I'm not... how I'm telling you all this. Don't think that what I tweet at any given moment isn't like is everything. Don't trust me. I network. I know people. I'd have conversations offline. I'm not fucking stupid. Okay? I also know the kinds of things you shouldn't talk about. It's how I survive. It's how I stay up. I know that there's certain things that come across your desk that you don't fucking share, and you have to share very carefully. I'm not fucking stupid. Okay? It's the fact that people underestimate me that annoys me the most. It's like that they think I don't know what's going on. Anyway, fuck me. So regardless of what you know, don't discuss it, especially if you're a public figure, news anchor, etc. If it's not reported, it didn't happen, and you never have to deal with it. Okay? So it's better to say nothing. This is a PR rule. Say nothing. It's easier. Give yourself if you actually speaking is the worst thing that you can do. And that's why with this woke engine that I call, it's like this synthetic fucking weapon that has been created, is so effective because it bullies people into speaking and hanging themselves. Not literally. YouTube transcriber hate speech screen thing. Okay. I meant metaphorically. Give people enough rope. Okay. And part of that is to get your opponent to speak and fucking fuck it up. And then you can reframe what they said and you can hold their words against them. Okay. Fucking cults 101. It's the fucking Scientology file. The burn book. Has anyone seen Mean Girls? Anyone? Okay. So become incredulous and indignant. And this is what you see with a lot of the like blue checks on Twitter. They know what this is. Or they're just useful idiots. Avoid discussing key. I would imagine that these techniques are probably wrapped into a policy somewhere within the organization for journalists in their code of conduct for social media, which is that, and also in NDAs. So a lot of corporations just use the NDA thing. Okay, so what they'll do is they'll get their fucking goons in HR to contact you and get, or as a business opportunity, and then trick you into signing an NDA, so that then if you start saying anything, they can use that, like, you know, as something that they can, as a tactic. So there's lots of these ways where you can, it's not about being part, this is where they go, oh, it's all stitched up, it's all a conspiracy and all that stuff. It's not a conspiracy, it's the system. It's how the system's designed and evolved and adapted to keep people from, you know, it's very clear that if you want to work at The Guardian, there's certain things you can't talk about. Okay? It's policy. Okay? Again, it's just reading between the lines. So, but they don't write it down because, again, what you know, because again, something like the ABC is open to an FOI request like I did. Okay. And there's no technical policy. And I called them on it. And I said, you're breaking your own editorial guidelines. And they scrambled with the word woman, calling women vulva owners in an article. And I said, that breaks your guidelines. And then they sent me some bullshit and I pushed them on it and they said, we're not going to answer anymore. But they just do it because they manufacture these things. But you just push them a little bit. But what I did was I knew that I wasn't going to nudge those in charge, but I was going to nudge a number of people that might be saying, well, hey, they're in breach of their editorial standards, and hook them into replying to me. And they fell for it a little bit. I've got to escalate that. I've been busy. But ACMA, now I need to fucking go to the minister. So when it suits me, I will make a complaint. That's how smart activism works. Not arguing with trans people on fucking Twitter who are largely bots or paid influencers. Okay? How do these poor people, okay, afford hundreds of thousands of dollars in plastic surgery in the American system? Okay? Bullshit. Now, just saying. So, and sit on Twitter all day. Okay, the machine is there, but it's influencer marketing. You can't tell me that there's just not a fucking massive influencer campaign going on where they're raining fucking cash on people. Bullshit. Okay. You start, again, they're just fucking unicorns. Literally in that case. Anyway, so become incredulous and indignant. And avoid discussing key issues and instead focus on side issues. We're on a bridge, Charlie. Which can be used to show the topic as being critical of some otherwise sacrosanct group or theme. This is also known as the how dare you gambit. 3, create rumour mongers. Well, if the fucking woke army aren't rumour mongers, I don't know who is. Okay, I hear that person's a turf. And they're fucking dog whistles and fucking the reason why they're primed to go hunting for dog whistles. Because it's gamified. It's gamified dog whistle hunting. Nudging them to constantly go to be looking for fucking alt-right people everywhere. And alt-right looking for fucking dumb woke tweets on TikTok. It's all just a big fucking engine where everyone gets paid. Okay? So avoid discussing. So this is where I fell between the cracks. Because they also avoid discussing the elephant in the room at all times. Which is the fact that they're both part of the same fucking thing. And that Marxist analysis actually fixes this. Chomsky fixes this analysis. They hate Jimmy Dore for a reason, because Jimmy Dore knows too, what I know, which is that Tim Pool is just as fucking complicit as as Robin DiAngelo. Okay, all these people, they just monetize and nudge their own tribes into the same bullshit, which is the US fucking culture wars, where everyone's a fucking, the mutual enemy of the United States is actual fucking Marxism. Try being a Marxist on social media and see how many fucking super chats you get. Okay, see how many clicks you get and retweets and love bombs. Okay, I saw this because the MAGA bots and the TERF bots and all of those fucking things were nudging me to the right. Okay, and then suddenly when I started going, nah, I'm good. I haven't had bots in ages. I haven't had any real nudges because I think they realize they can't really do it and they know that I'm onto their shit. Okay, so, and again, when I say they, I'm not saying they like fucking QAnon say they. I'm saying just the people that are running whatever algorithm and AI and whatever campaign on me at any given moment. Okay, so this playbook is now just something that's replicated for good guys and bad guys. But the good guys rationalize evil and the bad guys are at least fucking honest about it. And that's the thing. Democrats and Republicans or right versus left or all these people. The thing that annoys me the most is good guys that pretend that they're not doing exactly the same thing that the bad guys do. And they say, oh yeah, well, we're doing this for the right reasons. No, you're still doing the wrong thing. Okay? And so don't fucking fall for it. Stop arguing with people. It's a machine. And it's all largely driven by AI. So create rumour mongers. And then you can see it. All Murdoch press. You got woke Murdoch press and fucking conservative Murdoch press. And then you've got some dumb fuck calling someone a TERF and all that shit. Okay? And then Douglas Murray fucking suddenly pops up going, oh, the state of free speech and the in fucking that. And Rupert Murdoch hoovers up all the fucking cash. Don't be fucking dumb. It's like everyone is just being nudged in certain directions and incentivized and paid to do certain things, okay? Don't trust any of it. I just sit there and I watch this stuff where I'm seeing Radfem show up on Sky News. And it's like, you know what? It's one thing to use the system to your advantage. That's the one thing that I think that I'll take from Lib Fems is the argument that agency, as long as you know that what you're in that narrow view, in that small percentage of people who know about nudging and know they're being manipulated in whatever direction, or know that the market's fixed, or know that, things work a certain way, there's no harm in profiting from it because it's how the system works. You got to eat. I would rather profit from it then but it's an honest transaction and I'm open about that. Okay, I hold DOGE. I know they're fucking with it, but I'm going to do, I'm honest about that. I'm not saying DOGE is going to change the world and, act like it's fucking completely innocent and not tell you that I think something's happening. Okay. Same thing with like GameStop. And it's like, whatever. It's interesting, but I'm just saying, don't trust things. So create rumor mongers. That's just Twitter. The whole thing is bullshit. And then you've got like on YouTube and even Clubhouse, the bitchiness. I don't know if you say on Clubhouse, you've got like people who will just split off and, they can't deal with the big rooms, so they'll split off and create the gossip rooms. Okay. They're all part of the same machine because they're all just incentivized to try and start shit for money. It's just like, okay, whatever. But avoid discussing issues by describing. So again, and meanwhile, no one's looking at the actual issue, which is the markets, the funding, the business interests in both areas. You can't, again, it's so frustrating. Can the TERFs knock it off too? Oh, Turfy McTurfface is here. Can you tell them to knock it off? They're just making people money with their outrage. It's not activism. Okay? It's bought and sold. I'm not saying you're not going to win. I'm saying you need to fucking have a sense of class analysis about this whole thing and stop worshipping heroes that aren't our friends and are fucking heading into the alt-right. And well, everyone's being nudged in that direction. No one's nudging to the left at the moment. Okay? They're all being fucking nudged to the right. And that is a valid critique of social media. It's all ads. So, create rumor mongers. Avoid discussing issues by describing all charges, regardless of venue or evidence, as mere rumors and wild accusations. Okay, again, that's normal. Okay. Other derogatory terms, mutually exclusive of truth, may work as well, such as TERF. Well, if you worship the goddess Posey, then that's exactly who I was referring to. Okay. I'm just saying. That's exactly the person that I'm referring to. So I have problems with that. Okay. Yes, I have. So I don't worship anybody other than the truth. Okay. And I don't trust anybody. Don't even trust me. And if you don't like it, that's cool too. So Turfy McTurfface, I don't have my chat layer on, but she said, I only worship the goddess Posey. And I don't. So I don't worship anybody because most of this is propaganda and bullshit on all sides. Okay. It's all manufactured. It's obvious. They're just nudging people in various directions to fucking whatever. And yeah. Nobody publishes anything they don't want published. So now, and I know this from following certain things that don't get published or talked about outside of certain, I know the truth. I know this. The jig's up with the markets and DOGE. Like, they showed what they're doing, okay, which is that they're just, it's American government bullshit culture wars on their tech and their tech platforms to fucking nudge us and manipulate us in whatever direction that they want. PsyOps bullshit. So, on everybody, if you think you're free thinking, you're not. I'm not. I fell for this. I fell for some stuff. I continue to fall for some stuff. But now I'm aware of the fact that I'm being fucked with. And just assume that I don't have all the facts as well. But I'm just saying. So this method, which works especially well with the silent press, because the only way the public can learn of the facts is through such arguable rumors. And that's where discrediting Reddit is a big part of this GameStop stuff, okay? And this stuff around like the SEC and DTC and, the idea that nobody in America, I think that the dudes who are talking about the free market with the cum of Uncle Sam dripping from their fucking chin on a daily basis might be interested in the idea that not a single shareholder in America actually owns the original share. I thought that might be of interest in the free market that apparently exists, which we know doesn't, but they don't know that. They keep thinking that the free market exists. I thought that was important information. I thought the fact that the banks are about to collapse was important information. Who's not talking about stuff, even though I'm saying it? That follow me. They don't care. They care about arguing with bots and ads. They're arguing with human ads. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go argue with Jamila Jamil and get a whole bunch of social proof and validation with bots on either side and make Twitter fucking keep me distracted for my whole day for 12 hours where I've been yelling at people on the internet rather than reading about the fucking markets and learning stuff about what's going on in the economy right now. Okay. Yeah, it's like, fuck me. Because that takes time. I've basically worked full time on learning like crypto charts and data and in more detail and what's going on there and the stock market and, relying very heavily on people's like DDs in Reddit to get me up to speed. And it's been very, very useful. But why no one's talking about this? It seems quite convenient. Okay. And the second that someone points it out, suddenly there's a big post pretending to be a Reddit post that says, oh no, our government is doing the best they can to fix this. Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. Once you understand this simple question, when you see a piece of media and they ask you to believe something that you don't believe, or see something that you don't see, or hear something that you don't hear, they get you to ignore your senses, you do not trust it. And that should be times 2,000 if they're saying something, okay, that asks something of you. when you agree with them, and that's why Charlie the Unicorn is very important to watch critically as actually quite an impressive piece of media and commentary. It's genius because they're dressed as unicorns. They're dressed like you, and they go, "Come with us, Charlie. We're going to Candy Mountain. Come with us." All right. And then they're going, "Well, why?" "Come with it." And then they pester you till he comes. They pester him till he goes with them. And then he goes, "This bridge is mighty rackety. I don't know if this is safe." Bloop! Distraction, move on. See that nudging? Okay? And this is when I talk about this turf shit and people going fucking full right wing. And like this walk away shit and that radicalization path, it is insidious. It's not overt, okay? I'm not saying like a woke person that, suddenly because you disagree that you're alt-right, that's the same fucking bullshit, okay? That's their way to get you to fucking double down and go, am I? Am I this thing? Because the first thing that you do when you're accused of that, what do? You look it up. Like when I was accused of being a TERF, I looked it up. I was like, what's a TERF? I don't fucking know what a TERF is. And I looked it up. And I went, that doesn't sound true. So then I learned what it was because someone called me it. And then I was put on that pathway. And then I saw that the TERFs were teaming up with the fucking alt-right and that they were being accused of alt-right. Well, what's that? I got to look that up now. Oh, look. Then I'll watch their content. But through that process of being named a TERF, you are pushed right by design. You see what I'm saying? The wokes are a lead magnet. Well, both sides are a lead magnet for the same fucking US bullshit. They're stupid culture wars that don't fucking make sense to anyone but them. Fucking American colonization. Darvo. This is how you know it's come from fucking America. Is that they're accusing us of being colonizers when we're not. When they're the ones that are colonizing. Darvo, like I said. Fucking idiots. It's all American fucking psyops and marketing. It's just that playbook that's gotten like cleverer. So, and anyone who falls for it, sorry, but I know Turfy McTurfface is probably going to have to change the username. After if you go watch this back, you'll probably feel like you need to change your username because I went through this process recently too where I was like, holy shit, I've been catastrophically wrong about these things. I've fallen for and it was only through the DOGE versus Safe Moon bullshit that I started to see the same playbook play out. And I go, oh yeah, I see what they're doing. They're splitting the community and moving it. They split and move and split and move and split and move. Marketing segments! Segmentation! So they create the community, they create some shit, so you move the community, and then they fucking study that community too. Segmentation. You're not owning the word, you're playing into it. I'm saying, okay, fair enough. I'm saying they segment the community. And that's what they've done with the fucking TERFs as well. Okay? So they're sitting and watching Posey. They're watching fucking everyone. They're watching the tribes. They're watching me. They're watching you right now. Okay? And when I say they, I just mean bots and AI, that massive database of segmentation and data. We are just markets. That's all we are. And if we don't want to be markets, then you get banned. Or if you ask questions of the person who's the highest bidder, in this instance, is fucking farmer and trans, and like you've seen the way they talk about these things as like new market opportunities. You don't get in the way of people and big money. We just happen to not be the highest bidder right now. It's got nothing to do with the issue. We're just a market segment. Okay. So anyway, create rumor mongers. Use a straw man. So find or create a seeming element of your opponent's argument, which you can easily knock down to make yourself look good. Again, this bridge doesn't seem right. It's a bit rickety. Where are we going? We're on a bridge, Charlie. Straw man, right? Either make up an issue you may safely imply exists based on your interpretation of the opponent's situation, or select the weakest aspect of the weakest charges. The opposite of that in Charlie the Unicorn was to focus on the one bit that he said is true. We're on a bridge, okay? Now, the reason why, unfortunately, radfems are caught in so much of this heat is because radfems brush up against fucking serious money, power, and win the argument. That's the problem. That's why we're targeted. And we're the mums and kids and, that sort of stuff. So deliberately separating. So the thing is, like, I'm starting to wonder if that split between me and my daughter isn't largely manufactured. We're in different segments. And basically, we can't even talk because they know what she's saying online too. And they know the group she's in, and they're sending bots and AI bots to tell her that she's abused and that, all these sorts of things. Like fucking Jesus bot that shows up and says those things. Okay? That's what they think is my source bot. It's not, because I see what they're fucking doing. Okay? It's AI shit. And if it's not an AI, actual AI that you're talking to, it's a person who is using AI to brief a digital agency on what your fucking pain points are. That's a persona. They do a site profile, and I have a feeling that, again, I refuse to work in this space, but people have talked about dynamic personas and user profiles for ages. That's what Google have been building on us. It's just a dynamic marketing persona, okay, with AI. So it just learns more about us and builds more about us and sells shit back to us and sells it to whoever the highest bidder is. And that's why I don't actually get bots. I don't get threats. I don't get really much. The only bot that I've got really is Jesus bot, and that's a pretty military grade bot, isn't it? You've seen it. Okay. I'm saying, and the only people that I'm on a track that's a bit different, I think, because I think that I tend to attract the social engineers, who are the people that call me out of the blue and make friends with me and ask me to do certain things and say certain things. Yes, that's happened. Okay, I've been approached by people to talk about certain things. They're feeding a story, and then I go, no, well, you got to pay me a lot for that. I'm not for sale. And they go, oh, okay. I'm saying these things happen all the time. I'm the boss fight diamond hands fuck that sees what they're doing. If I get a phone call, I don't trust any online friend unless I've known you from old school internet. Okay, and even then, I'm not 100% sure. Okay. If I haven't met you in the flesh, okay, I don't trust you. And I don't take your word as fucking gospel, because I either assume that you're trying to manipulate me, or that you don't have diamond hands fucking boss fight brain like me. And I always wonder, I've got friends who just, anyone who watches this I'm not saying anything about you individually. I'm just saying who get radicalized and start fucking doing things that I was doing 2 years ago, when I fell for the fucking culture wars and was just like, well, yeah, okay, well, 2 years from now, you'll realize that everyone's just circles back on itself, and they're still arguing at the exact same time, at the exact same day, with the exact same people over and over again. When it's not, they replace Yaniv with a fucking new person. How does Yaniv make money? Okay? He's in tech. She's in tech. They are in tech. I'm just saying, it's cherry picked. It's marketing. Now, and again, I'm not making claims or conclusions. I'm saying, as a marketer, it's what I do. If I was fucking a bad person and didn't care, or a really dumb person who didn't know about these techniques. So, 5, sidetrack opponents with name calling and ridicule. So that's obvious. We've seen that. The primary attack the messenger ploy. Okay. So through though other methods qualify as variants of that approach. So associate opponents with unpopular titles such as kooks, right-wing, liberal, left-wing, terrorists, conspiracy buffs, radicals, all of that, sexual deviant, all of that sort of stuff. So if you're just turning around and calling people names, like I just call everyone fuckwit because you're all fuckwits. Fuckwit's universal. Can we get back to just a universal slur, which has a universal definition? A universal definition that people with eyes and ears and brains and senses can turn around. The one thing that will unite us all, okay, is that we can all spot a fuckwit. We can all spot a fuckwit. Anything else? Apes don't fight other apes. Okay? Oh, fuck, that was funny. I said apes don't fight other apes on Twitter as a metaphor. And this is what happened. A reply. Actually, apes do fight other apes in the wild. It's like, oh, yeah. That's Twitter in a nutshell. It's Twitter in a nutshell. Like, why bother? It's like, I've been talking about GameStop for what? Fucking ages. If you know, it's like, you're beyond help. You're beyond help. If you don't understand that I've been talking about this for weeks now and saying you should look at it and look at the metaphor, and I've done 3 videos explaining the concept of apes don't fight other apes, and then you reply and go, apes, actually they do. It's like, ugh, it's a metaphor. Look it up. It's everywhere. Why don't you just Google what I mean, maybe? See, this is the thing. Before you reply, why don't you just Google it? Or DuckDuckGo it, in my case. Okay? Why don't you just look it up? Do a minimum amount of work in order to try and understand what someone's saying. Like those fuckwit assholes that were just piling on this young activist who was talking about kids have had knife fights. I mean, I thought it was stupid. She was being hyperbolic, right? But I also was like, why are you guys piling on this fucking idiot? What do you get out of it, you big man? Like, you're just as bad as each other. Oh no, this young woman said something stupid. We must get our whole fucking army on her. Or not. Just go, you're a fuckwit, and ignore it. That's how it doesn't work. If Charlie the unicorn had turned around and go, fuck off, fuckwit. There's no such thing as Candy Mountain, and you're an idiot. I don't trust anything you say because you are flanking me and pestering me, which means I don't trust you. And I've also, based on every interaction with you up until now, where you're asking me to do something, has not been terribly fucking trustworthy. And I think you're a fuckwit. Maybe I'm going to block you and not argue with you. No. Pay me for my time and we'll talk. Okay? Pay me for my time. This is why this is why lawyers ask for fucking upfront money. Because it's time wasters. And people who fucking are, should be in Brave. Can you stop? Yeah. So please, no culture wars shit anymore on my chats. I'm requesting it. Now, changing direction because I think everyone is, okay. So I'm putting a woman in timeout for 5 minutes. Just so you know that it's actually even, and I'm trying to flex, okay, and show people, look at this, give us a tune on the uke when I was actually saying something that people need to hear. We're on a bridge, Charlie. Let's talk about my issue that I really care about. No, let's talk about my issue, which is that you guys are arguing with dumb cunts and being a fuckwit with the other fuckwits. Meanwhile, you're not paying attention to the real power move and the real money that's going on, which is the segmentation of our data into smaller and smaller and smaller behavioral profiles, up to and including how you spend and buy and sell crypto, up to how you do buy and sell stock. They will know what your panic level is when it comes to if you start to invest, if you buy a house. If they get that persuasion score refined down to your paper hands and diamond hands and shit, okay, which they probably have. It's probably why they're tanking everything right now, because I have a feeling, right? I have a feeling that DOGE is a sleeper data experiment, as is SafeMoon, for the real play over this fucking short squeeze at GameStop. It's not again, I'm not making claims. Merely just pointing out what I see with my eyes and ears, okay? Difference between QAnon and me is that I just point out what I see. Okay, I'm not making claims, but I'm saying there's a lot of coincidences, which is that suddenly Wall Street Bets finds a way to fuck with them. That community gets taken over, and everyone taken out. Okay, GME subreddit's created. That GME subreddit gets taken over and kicked out. They're basically just like segmenting people. So there's all the sleepers. I mean, most people are members of like all of them, thankfully. Okay. I'm not saying, but there's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people who just will go, I'm going to join this cult over here. But they're just gradually narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. Okay. Now, if you run an app like Webull or Robinhood or anything that's a retail investor app, they're gathering data. They know your buys, sells, how much you've got. They mash it up with your Facebook data and all of your other social data, banking data, insurance data. They know your health conditions and all this. This is that big fucking data pool that no one's paying attention to. The burn book. Okay? And this is why me being, out there and fairly straight up and down with my real name all the time means that I don't get and knowing all this stuff means that I don't get any fuckery really, because like I've said before, if they take me down for talking about this, then that's a sign that things are really bad. I did have an HR rep from Google look at my LinkedIn profile the other day. Be interesting. I don't think many HR reps from Google have been told to fuck off before. Diamond hands. Okay. Because what Google would probably do with people who talk about these things is offer them a job or offer them an opportunity, okay, and then get them to sign an NDA. Or hire them and pay them so they can't fucking talk.